If we ask the common man what he thinks of India, they have two startling views, two different extreme views of India. One group of people have the view that India is shining. India is going to become an economic global superpower by 2020. We have the feel-good factors of the nation. Another group of people think that India got freedom at midnight and the sun is yet to come up. Some people say India is a country of paradoxes. And the truth is, our nation has both views, which are true. So today I would like to speak with you a few factors of India shining and also a few factors of India in darkness. And eventually what we can do to bring this nation forward. The first factor with India shining is democracy. Recently, 3 or 4 days back in the Hindu, there was an opinion poll, results of the opinion poll conducted by the Hindu, and they said the best factor about India, what people feel about India is democracy. Even today, any party can come on top of the people. Any ideology can come on top of the people. Anyone can choose to rule us. We have the freedom to express our views. We have a very healthy youth population which is ready to work for the development of the nation. Thirdly, the factor which brings us all together, or which is really a shining factor about India, which other nations do not have, is the value system which we have all got. I heard that overall India we have only 1,700 police stations, but we have thousands and thousands of villages. So who controls crime in all those places? I was thinking, the real reason or the real factor which controls crime in those places is the God-fearing system which people have. Now, these people, if you frighten them in the name of God, if we Indians are frightened in the name of God, we are ready to control our desires. We are ready to stop evil from happening in our country. We have healthy family system, a healthy cultural setup, which is not present in the West. There people are suffering due to stress, they are suffering due to mental problems because they don't have a very healthy family setup. But in our nation, we have this family setup. So these are the basic 3 shining factors which I will say. Now, at this point of time, we must also be honest with ourselves and try to do some introspection and see what our negative factors are so that we can drive them away. Recently in the Hindu paper again, the first negative factor which they mentioned was corruption. Recently, it is so easy that a person got a passport for a human being who does not exist, who has died. He got a passport for a person who does not exist. So the corruption has entered to such an extent where anybody can achieve anything through if he has the money. Secondly, I would say that the youth of our nation is very much dependent on the West. Real independence or real freedom is the ability to think, act and feel freely, so that we are not dependent on any other nation or any other ideology. But here we are so much culturally dependent on the West. We consider it a passion to have the products which are manufactured in the West. So in one sense we have not achieved 100% independence. We are still dependent on the West, we are still dependent on their products. So this is something also which we should consider. Thirdly, the major factor with our nation is there is a huge gulf between the rich and the poor. We are not aware of that. 60, as the principal told, also in the Hindu they have published 60% of India suffers to have even 2 square meals a day. But there is an elite group of people who are actually moving forward. We are saying that we want to become a global superpower, but it seems that only an elite group of people are moving forward. So this is another thing which we must consider, and rich are getting richer and poor are getting poorer. We must try our best efforts to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. Finally, before I conclude, I would also like to give 2 messages to our student community especially. First thing is we must develop social consciousness. Major problem with us is we might, after we complete our course, we might be going into IT companies, but we are working within 4 glass walls, but we do not know what is happening next to that place. We do not know about the poverty in our nation. We do not know the problems that India faces. We are so much unaware of the political, economic and social scenario in our country, especially the youth of our nation. Whatever India is today, it is because of the youth and students of yesterday. And whatever India is going to be tomorrow is because of the youth and students of today. So it is very important that we as students should wake up to the fact that India is a growing nation which also has paradoxes, and we must help our country to become more aware. And final point is, we must act. It's not enough to have social awareness, we must act. One of the major problems with the Indian thinking is, we always grumble, we are always complaining people. But we take very few steps to change things. The major thing that we must take into consideration is, we must put our efforts to change things. Instead of complaining, instead of blaming people, what have I done to change the nation? It is the role of every individual to introspect into himself and see what he has done. Every person should take up some job. It could be helping people in many ways. For some people it could be starting an institution. For some people it could be running a hospital. For some people it could be helping others spiritually. If any person, every person should take up some job, irrespective of he is an Indian or he is a non-residential Indian. We must all take up some jobs to help and develop our nation. This is all I wanted to say. Thank you to the ISTD and the principal for having given me this opportunity. Thank you very much.